I'm going to bang the drum again and saying, I don't know how they create the cap room, but ultimately I don't see how Patrick Kane doesn't become a New York Ranger. Just for me, I'm just saying, this is me. I'm not saying it's breaking news. Don't come back and you're watching this right now and rock with weeks, man. You said that he was going to Ranger. No. I'm just telling you, as a fit for where they are now,
Yeah.
in my vision for their club, I think he's a nice fit as arguably the greatest American player that's going to go down in history for American-born player. I think I already know his connection with Panarin. They were the best line in the league. Him and another former Ranger, Artie Anisimov, and Patrick Kane and Panarin were the best line in the league. And his ability to generate offense like Panarin's as non-centers that aren't center icemen, but they can generate offense like centers. There's only about 5 or 6 wingers that can do that. So I think Patty Kane, I know he's a Buffalo guy, but still New York State, still in the Empire State. I think Patty Kane would be a great fit for them if they can make it work.
Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of wrote that off as soon as they signed Trocheck because of the
Right.
cap space. But if you add Kane and just think of a line of Panarin, Trocheck, and Kane, you have Trocheck that's a really good two-way forward.
Yeah.
Panarin is good in his own zone as well, and then Kane brings all the offense. That
Yeah.
would be a nice combination. But again, the cap space is just a huge question for not just the Rangers, but I mean, a lot of teams face that issue too. But now more so than ever, creating that room. The Rangers also have to think about Lafreniere and Keandre Miller contract extensions next offseason too.
For sure. But you know what? That's why, to me, it's all about creativity, right? And I know that those roles are difficult and there's so many things to balance, especially for a team like the Rangers that is so well funded and so well capitalized from Mr. Dolan and family that they would be able to, they're almost restricted by the salary cap, unfortunately, right? Because they have the financial resources and they have the backing financially to have $100 million cap if that was allowed, right? But all that to say, sometimes you just have to get creative because it is a challenge. And Chris Drury's done a really nice job there, and he was one of the finalists for GM of the year. So congrats to Drew on that. But sometimes you got to get creative, whether it's the Rangers or any other club. You got to engineer deals. Sometimes you got to get creative to make some of those moves. But I'm curious to see. I think Patty Kane to the Rangers would be an amazing story, an amazing fit. Great off the ice, great on the ice for their team where they are now, and give them that piece that could maybe put them over the edge. But we'll see. You never know how things go, man. There's also injuries. Then whether they're short term or whether you have LTIR, does that create some cap space? If you have the benefit, of course, that unfortunately for any player that's injured, but from a financial cap standpoint, benefit of having LTIR dollars available, there's a lot of those different considerations.
Mm-hmm. So do you think like Chris Drury's actively trying to do that, or is this just something that you think would make sense for the Rangers?
I won't speak for Drew, but I do know that there's certainly been interest there from the Rangers. I don't want to characterize it because then everybody's going to be looking for it to happen tomorrow. But I do know that there's interest there. And listen, man, Chris Drury played in the league a long time. He had an excellent career. He won. He played with great players in Colorado. He was with the Rangers. He's a captain. He was with Buffalo. There were other really good players in Buffalo. It's not lost on him what Patrick Kane means to the league and what he could be, what he's meant to the Hawks, of course, what he's meant to the sport, but also a fellow American-born player and what he could potentially mean to the Rangers if, and that's a big caveat, if they were able to make it happen.